Hey everyone, Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com. Today we're looking at the EC-1500. This is a twin-engine cargo plane that can fly from mild to wild maneuvers. It's well constructed, easy to build, and pretty dang cool, as this photo illustrates. We're going to look at just some of the parts and pieces. More of this build review will take place in our online piece on RCGroups.com with a link in the description below. Here's the fuse, the elevator. All of this is kind of a snap together situation. There are a couple of screws that you need to deal with, but only I think two in the whole build. We have carbon fiber wing tubes and pieces for the Ellie. And then the vertical stab is interesting. It's a big piece that slides in. You'll also note right there that there are servo connectors in the wing pieces, in the stab. All of it just kind of slides and pops and it's connected. When you go to put the motor mounts on, or not the motor mounts, but the props and the prop adapters, be sure to pay attention in my review. There's definitely a right and a wrong way to do that. The ailerons and flaps are cool because A, they have real hinges, and B, there are different ways to connect them to make your flaps bigger, smaller, make your ailerons longer. There's the plug and the wing panels. Everything, of course, is pre-installed. All the graphics are pre-applied. And there's your the way that you're going to put your wing on. It also features this door that can be opened remotely from a switch, and you could drop things out of the plane as you fly over or go over the runway. And here we go. Take a look. Bingo. There's your door opening and closing and a little flap movement. So without further ado, let's head to the field and fly the teeth off of this EC-1500. So as you can see, it leaps right off the ground. It just has so much authority. You know, you can run a 3S or a 4S in this. And the 3S you can run is between a 3200 and a 6400. And it delivers performance. Or if you install a 4S battery, you can have power to hover, unlimited vertical. And you can do all that without any modifications. You know, the folks at Horizon have been really upgrading our ESCs and motors to allow us to move on up to a 4S capability, which is cool because, you know, if you're new and you're not so sure, you could go 3S. Look at that. Inverted flight. You can fly it in a very scale and docile-like manner. Or if you're like Jason Cole, which obviously that's him in this video because we are upside down, then you can put your 4S in there and do just about anything you want. It really is, you know, for such a big foam airplane, it really is kind of amazing how aerobatic or acrobatic this thing flies. And sometimes when you get something this big, at least me, you get a little wary. You're like, can I do this? What if I roll and I can't get it back around in time before the ground comes up to... but no, this thing will do whatever you tell it to. And those twin props are for real. When you actually order the kit and pick those up, you will realize how dense they are. And I'll touch on that for a second. When you install these big props, you want to make sure you don't want to over tighten, break anything, but you want to use a 10mm socket and a wrench and get those on nice and tight. And there is a video that demonstrates this that I'm probably going to put in the review at RC Groups because I think it is important. It's something I paid attention to. So here comes the functional cargo door. That is, how many, let's look at it, 140 cubic inches of cargo bay volume. And what are the measurements? 2.5 by 4.2 by 12.7 inches. And you can airdrop everything from parachutes to candy. And even we were looking at micro drones, see if we could fit something in there, open the door, and then fly out. That is a future project. But another thing to discuss is the landing gear. So the landing gear is built into the fuse. It's kind of a hard landing gear. And my question was, how does it land? So we're going to find out for the first time here. Are there any flaps involved? Yes. I will say use the flaps. It certainly will make your landings smooth and the way you want them to look. And speaking of that, let's go and jump off into the air again and take another flight. Rolling. And I think, one thing Horizon does with just about everything, I was talking about this with the Aero Scout in an article I wrote. A beginner can fly it. So this has safe technology. And with the flip of a switch, you can get into safe and make this a very, very docile airplane. But with another flip of the switch, you can fly like this and have, a lot of vertical authority in your rolls. You can make your ailerons longer and get even a better roll rate. The flaps, I'm not a flap guy. I've got to say, I've just never owned any flap planes early in my career, but do not discount the flaps on this. I believe that they are necessary to grease that landing in. And what we're seeing here is, once again, some inverted flight, just showing what kind of control those surfaces are exerting on the plane and the ability to make it do what you want.
How about a scale-like stall turn?
2 motors is always good. I will say, if you ever get a flame out with one of your motors, and you're not going to get a flame out, of course, we're not running nitro here, but if you do throw a prop, we discussed this at the field, I feel that what you need to be doing if you have a prop fly off is chop throttle, get the power off the other side of that wing, and then glide home. Wherever home is, be it the pasture or making it to the runway or whatever. But that's what I decided before our first flight. I'm like, look, man, if we blow a prop, we're going to pull the throttle back and just bring it on in. Plus, I would pull the throttle back and go into safe and have even a better chance of bringing this thing in. So here it is, slowed down. We have the flaps down. And you can almost see the lights. There are LED nav lights in this thing that are factory installed and are always exciting. I'm not sure why lights on RC planes are exciting, but they always are. They're never not. There's even a set of skis that come with this thing. So if you're running it in the snow, you could attach those and make it work that way. And I want to go over one more time about the build on this. It will be linked to the review below with photos of me putting it together. But what a simple build. Just sometimes there's 1 or 2 things that are tricky on some of these planes, and this was not tricky in the least. I would say that there's a little touch and go. Noting the landing gear and how it's working with the asphalt there. The only thing I would say to really pay attention to is getting your props on firmly and doing it right.
I feel like you've been flying forever.
I'm going to have an instructional video from Horizon in my review so that you can get it straight from the horse's mouth. So let's see it. Let's see it. There you go. It's like a magnet hitting the ground there.
Are you just that good, or does the airplane like to land?
It definitely sticks when you hit it. It touches down and not going to bounce very easily. Nature of this landing gear.
Like a magnet. All right, well, I got you, Jason. Thoughts?
That was a good one. It's fun, so it's pretty powerful. Definitely big counter-rotating twin is a lot of fun, a lot of power. Ailerons are really responsive. The roll rate's not crazy fast, but right now we are connected with the ailerons as being the double surface.
Right.
So if we switch it to flaps, you're going to have less aileron surface, so I'm assuming some of that roll authority is going to go away. But maybe if you connect it to the flaps and then reprogram the receiver and mix so the whole wing is operating as an aileron, then I think you're probably going to increase the roll rate, definitely the authority, and probably get more crazy if you want it to be. It does aerobatics fine, snap rolls, point rolls, spins, does all that stuff pretty great. A lot of power to fly with, which is great. Landings are awesome with this thing. It's a lot of fun. That last one we just did was able to come in and keep the nose off the ground and just touch down on the mains and then keep that nose up and then finally let it down. So that's a lot of fun, man. This thing's gonna be great fun at the field.
Awesome.